Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for February 27th, 2022.
Howe now ahead for Bedard over the line. In front, Armstrong scores! Easton Armstrong, top corner. Michaels back in front, rebound, scores! Mateo Michaels sets it up in front as Zane Rowan gets his third of the season. Broken up by Spolzo. He'll take it across the line with Bedard. Right side, drive, down low, backhander scores! Adam McNutt! How about that?
Well, Chris, I don't know if you can hear that in the distance, but it kind of sounds like a door closing, in my opinion. Coming into this week, we talked about how big these four games were. And it's not. I was fairly happy with how the team played this week. It just didn't seem like enough, and it just felt like things were just a bit too far and out of our grasp. And it kind of feels like a door's closing here on the potential playoffs. It's not totally out of reach, but Pats right now, after 48 games, have 19 wins. Essentially 29 losses, 41 points, good for 10th in the Eastern Conference. And kind of break that down a little bit further, they're now 6-15-2 on the road. And frankly, that's not really a statistic that a playoff team can have. What was just your overall feeling of this week?
Yeah, like you said, the efforts were there and just couldn't get the result they needed. And by all counts, listening to the coaching staff on the interviews and stuff, they were pretty happy with the games. Just the way it went. Yeah, the way the season's gone.
It is, and this week they're just so battered and bruised. You've got defensemen playing up on forward. You've got a 15-year-old just signed, right into it, and it's
playing
just,
top line.
It's tough. But that being said, the guys,
that doesn't help things, right?
No, exactly. They had a lot stacked against them this week, but they gave it their all, and they clawed back. They got the lead in time quite a bit. Actually, they played with the lead. They just couldn't finish it off, and it was against some decent teams this week, right? Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary, all are playoff teams. Two of them contenders too, right? So yeah, it was too bad. Let's go through our games here. The Medicine Hat game. So Medicine Hat really struggling this year, 9-36 as of today. But that was a maybe not as quote-unquote easy as a game as it maybe should have been. The guys actually showed some really good resiliency against a great goaltending performance, and it would have been a game that Medicine Hat they're playing to their record really too, right? They're out there. They're a little goony, a little rough, trying to draw penalties, looking for fights. The guys, they did pretty good because, compounded with them, the Tigers, that is, egging them on, and the frustration of the awesome goaltending performance, they held it together, and they came out with a win there. They had to put a lot of rubber on the net to get those goals, and they finally did, which was you could just see the celebration. I think it was Evans had that first one, right? And they were just excited to get that goal, I guess to say, and they were working hard for it. So it was
the way
well
it just
deserved
lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah.
And after the game, talking to Brad Harroff, he called it a mature win. He said, there wasn't any guys weren't getting down on the bench or anything, and they just kept stick to the plan, stick to the game, and then finally it just broke, right? And Evan said that too. I said, was there any doubt creeping in? And he's like, no, we were staying positive. We were just sticking with it, and it happened, right?
Yeah.
So
that was a good way to start the week. Again, team guys just getting battered and bruised though. Going into this road trip, pretty banged up. Big games ahead of us, and kick it off with with Edmonton, one of the best teams in the CHL, and not a great start, not a great look. We were down 3-0 at one point.
Yeah.
But hey, give it to them. They clawed their way back, and Pats were able to do it. Drew Sim looked okay. He held us in the game for a little while.
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of his best efforts of the season.
Absolutely.
And then he followed it up with a pretty good in Red Deer.
Yeah. Again, couldn't take advantage of some of the situations we had. We were 1 for 6 in the power play. Gave up two power play goals. Again, you get down 3-0 against a team like this, and like we were saying, it was not a bad week. Able to come back, showing some grit, some resiliency, tying it up in the third, but quickly losing that lead kind of.
Yeah,
sucked.
and like 3 goals is the biggest deficit they've come back from. Tied up, but Edmonton just took over, and that Gunther goal, man, like he just outworked it. He just wanted more than Bedard on the wall, and he just took it to the net, and Feist just didn't play it very well, and he just made a nice play on it.
Yeah,
it was a nice goal. And then the last 2 were just whatever goals.
That Gunther goal,
kind of ugly at the end.
Yeah, the Gunther goal, as good as Bedard is, it's just that next level, like a little bit more strength. That you see with a player of probably kind of that same caliber, right? We're looking at NHL high draft picks, and then just that extra bit of strength that you could see Bedard just get outmanned on that one.
Didn't have it, yeah,
and he wanted it, he just couldn't, and I think he was a little frustrated with it too. He's like, man, I got beat on that one, and by a very good player though. So, it was. But Edmonton's got good players from top to bottom, man.
Exactly.
I was watching that and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. Like, I just hadn't really watched them recently. I'm like, oh yeah, Goulet and Prokop, and it was just, they've got a damn.
And Neighbors was out too.
Right. Yeah, like they're gonna be a good team, but give it to the Pats for erasing that deficit. Because that's a good team on the other side, like I just said, and they're not going to just give you 3 goals like that. So,
no,
yeah, just the feeling of this week, just like it's within the grasp, and they just don't have what it takes to take that next step
to
right
finish.
Now.
Yeah, and it was costly not only on the scoreboard but on the roster again, because they lost Dubinsky and Vallis in that game.
Yeah.
Dubinsky, man, I mean, he got hit real early. By name's drawing a blank, but he took a shot right to the head. Like you could see he was dazed on the ice, and he was bent over, and he came back and played. And he got hit again by the same player.
Yeah,
and he just said, "Screw this! I'm dropping my gloves and beating this guy up because he's hit me twice in the head." And then he's got 2, 5, and 10, and that was, I didn't even realize he got a 10 until he wasn't out there for like ever. And then then Val took a high hit and he's out as well. So that was kind of an ugly one.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend that way. Okay, then it was off to Red Deer. Again, this is a tough week. 3-3, 3 really pretty good teams, and wasn't any easier with Red Deer. So Red Deer, kind of historically a tough team to play. We played them a little while ago, and it was a game that we just really couldn't generate any offense on. So wasn't really sure what we were going to expect coming into this game. But this was another one. It just was like they played pretty good, and I remember messaging you at some point, and I just said, no matter where this game goes, I think it was at the end of the second, I just said, man, to put up 4 on this team with this roster and our lineup and how banged up we are, it's nothing to be really ashamed about, and if anything, at least a moral victory. Now, unfortunately, those moral victories don't really get you any points, but it's a good team there in Red Deer. The guys put up 4 in one period, coming back from being down again. This sucks, because it was one of the things that I said that we'd need to do in this road trip was to get some of those first goals, and we're playing from behind again, but again showing some resiliency to get up and get ahead even in this game. But
yeah, like
again, just
you give up, like you said, that close.
Yeah.
You give up multiple goals in these first 2 games on the road.
yeah,
You give up the first 5 goals. 3 in Edmonton, 2 in Red Deer.
Yeah.
But they come back, like you said. Bedard gets 1, and then Evans was a great goal. That second one was real nice. And then a guy like Zane Rowan, he gets another one. 2 games in a row for him.
Yeah.
Nice to see, a guy like that contributing. And then they score, tied up. But then they respond right away. Adam McNutt with a beautiful goal. Wow, a goal off a beautiful pass from Svozil.
it really was. Yeah,
That was real nice.
yeah,
And then, like you said, they come back, and I think it's just maybe too much effort coming back in these games, right? You put all that effort down 2 goals, and then they just can't hang on in the well. Not that they couldn't hang on in the third. It seemed like the first 10 minutes they really took it to Red Deer, and they didn't sit back. They really carried the bulk of the play, and then an unfortunate penalty. Like it wasn't even a bad penalty. It was just Adam McNutt tripped himself.
yeah,
He was kind of turning around to get back on the back check, and he literally like stepped on his stick.
Yeah.
And he falls down and into the puck carrier, and then they score on the power play.
yeah.
And then that's second goal, and happens, right?
It was like,
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
yeah. I mean, I don't either. Like it was like it hit the post, goes under Sim, and then was it King that came in and just like, or did they? I don't know who that was that came in and
Somebody
just, like,
else.
just like started like just jamming away, and they like pushed him into the net, Sim, and it's like there's a goal, and it's like okay.
And so the explanation that Haroff got was the ref saw the puck cross the line. So
the ref was
since
very adamant.
video-
When you watch that, he's like, he's pointing right at it, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, how did you see
So
that?
Haroff was like, well, I guess you guessed at that because clearly you can't see it go across the line.
Yeah,
Because it was in between his legs. Like it's not like it was behind him. It was in between his legs. Like
and
he
even
closed it up.
the defender almost like was behind him too, like pushing the puck under Sim, right? Like away from the net. It was like he was kind of pushing it in.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so I don't know how he saw that, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just disappointing, right?
It was.
Another great effort,
Yeah.
just gone away like that.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it's just these little things that are just become insurmountable, and you end up losing the game. And it's like, doesn't matter how well you play or how hard you play or
No.
the effort. It just doesn't matter when it comes to the points. And that's
Like
what
I think they could have easily taken that to overtime, and then whatever happens, right? So you think there's at least a point in that game,
Yeah.
the way they were playing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and just like, I mean, you're getting goals from Svozil to Adam McNutt. Like, that just showed, like, Adam McNutt's playing up forward, first line at that. Like, I don't know if they shuffled it around at some point, but
Yeah,
you know,
they
this
were.
team was busting their ass. You're getting Zane Rowan scoring goals. Michael's out there too. Like, he was playing like I'd never seen him play too. I don't even think he got a point out of it, but
No, he had 2 in Edmonton though.
Edmonton. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was getting them confused. Like,
Yeah.
you're getting guys that just stepped up, and yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. And you think,
Yeah.
the way I started this episode, like, basically the playoffs are done, whatever, but it doesn't feel like a really disappointing week at the same time. But it is. It is.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Michael's, he got a chance with the top line there with Howe and Bedard. So they seemed like they rolled Michaels, a little bit of Zacharias in there, and Armstrong. Like, you see these guys, Armstrong had, not to jump ahead, but he had a goal tonight, right? And guys up on that line are contributing or producing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You put guys with more talented players, and they have some skill and they
Yeah.
can contribute. They just can't drive a play on their own line, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I was thinking that too. If everyone could play that well, or if if maybe you had a little bit more depth, like so you have your Bedard, but then you have say your center 2 and even into 3 that can elevate the guys around them. Like I know you're not going to have a team of 3 Bedards, but yeah, I mean they're not bad players when they can be with some of that talent, but just need a little more.
Yeah, it's just
depth
they're
there.
young, right?
Yeah,
It's the older guys that are out. It's the Nyhoff, the Dubinsky, the Brook was out. It's guys that can contribute on their own and elevate other players around them. It's those guys out. It's not the young guys that are injured. You're like, well, okay, we're not going to miss them per se, but it's these guys that we are missing. Vallis is out now, right? Like he's a guy that can drive a play, right?
Yeah, and I wonder, for how close these games were. If you had the Stringer, you had Nyhoff, you had Vallis for the whole thing, you had Brook for the whole thing, maybe, and even if Keeper was healthy, who knows? Like these were close games at some points, and it's just those little things that tip the balance. And I don't know, maybe if those guys were there, it'd be a different week. I don't know.
Yeah, you get at least a point in Red Deer, and you get 2 in Calgary instead of just 1.
Yeah, and that changes the standings quite a bit.
You come out of this weekend this weekend 3 points instead of 1. That 3 out of the 6 games. That's not terrible on a 3-3 on the road.
Yeah.
Which hasn't happened. Dante said that hasn't happened since 14-15. That's kind of crazy.
What's that? Sorry, getting
a 3-3 on the road.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to capture some of the comments from Haroff here after this Red Deer game. So listen to him now.
Yeah, I think Zane's been playing really good hockey for a while now. Even before he got his shoulder hurt, I thought he was starting to turn a corner, and he put a lot of work in, skating wise with Kenny when he was hurt, and now he's coming back flying. But I think there's lots of guys that are really pulling the rope right now. I think Mateo Michaels really stepped up. I think even Adam McNutt playing forward has stepped up. Whitehead, all our young guys have been very impressed with everybody in the way the forward group is held together here. And because a lot of these kids are playing more minutes than they have in their junior careers. So I think the way that we continue to fight and don't give up in games, something I'm very proud of all our boys of.
Well, I actually hadn't heard that, so I'm glad that we saw the same thing, and our comments reflect a lot of what Brad was saying. Because, I don't think it's a weekend to be really disappointed about, and I think there's a lot to build on. And I know I don't know how much it'll mean anymore, but all right. Nevertheless, into today's game. So Calgary, last time we played them, we shut them out. We actually beat them down pretty good. It was, of course, Kelton Pine's first start in the WHL and got his shutout. So they had a chance to play again. Didn't get the shutout this time, but a little bit of a better start. Hey, at least get the first goal, which is nice. But the thing is, they had the lead 3 different times, and they lost it each time. It's like, oh man, can we just get a lead and then keep it and then build on it? But just couldn't. Yeah. And it was like shortly after too. I mean, we were up 1-0 going into the second, and then they responded with some quick goals after between goal 2 and 3, and it's just like momentum killers. You get the goal and then it's like you lose it. Get the goal and then you lose it. And you're like,
yeah,
damn. So
2 minutes after the second goal, 2 minutes after the third goal, and that's just killer, right?
Yeah.
You score a goal, score the first goal, you take the lead, they come back, and I mean, Pine played pretty well, but I think probably all these goals he might have wanted back. Like, the first one just beat him over the glove. I don't know if he thought maybe he was going high, or maybe he just, I don't know. It just looked weird. Like he thought he just was good, and then it just,
I know.
Yeah, bye.
It was a good shot.
Like, and then that second goal.
Yeah,
definitely.
And
that second goal was just that tight angle. He just wasn't against the post, and the guy just put it in the right spot. Like
Yeah.
it literally hit the far post and in.
Yeah.
Like it just tough, and then the overtime goal is just kind of unlucky. Just the puck just popped up, and the guy just knocked it out of the air and in the net.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed with our overtime play. Like, didn't really feel like we had fantastic chances in it. You know,
No, we didn't. We had the puck for the whole first minute, but
Yeah.
they didn't really
do
get a
lot.
chance.
Yeah. Just didn't. I don't know if we really got any shots. Do they count that? Said we got 3 in overtime. Didn't feel like a lot of good chances though. So
No.
I don't know. Yeah, just like we said, it was a decent effort. Getting the first goal is nice, but then not being able to maintain it just.
Yeah, and another physical game. It seemed like all three of these games were quite physical. A couple fights.
It is, yeah. I don't know what Calgary. I don't know what it was. Like that first fight too between McNutt and Sutter. That must. I don't know what happened there. If I missed it or if it boiled. It was something left from.
I did miss
last
it.
game. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it was Sutter that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely. I want to say posterized, but it almost has to be updated to like Twitterized or something. Because it was Sutter that was playing D when he got freaking undressed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Maybe he just didn't want to play. He just wanted to be on the bench. I don't want to get whooped by Bedard again, so I'll just sit in the penalty box for a while, so I don't have to
maybe less
get
time
beat.
out there.
I've seen him and Bedard, John, in one stoppage of play. I'm like, I wonder if he's asking him if he's picked up his jock yet or something.
You know, I saw that the game they played here. I saw Bedard saying something to him, and it had to be something with that. Come on, if you're all over Sportsnet and Twitter and everything, you're bringing that up. Anyway, I mean, it's nice to get that point. It would have been nice to get the extra, but I don't know, just didn't have it in overtime. It just felt like we didn't produce anything. So too bad. Hey.
Yeah, no, and it's not on Pine. I mean,
no,
he's 15, so
Yeah,
I'm not going to take anything away from him. But I think he looked good all game, and it just the goals. Maybe I think he might have wanted 2 or 3 back. Right? It's just.
Yeah.
But I mean, the goaltending this whole weekend was solid. Like I said, Sim played well in both the other 2 games. Like the best we've seen him all season.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's some comments from Ken Schneider, assistant coach of the Pats after this game.
We played a tremendous hockey game as far as I'm concerned. Dante, 3 games in 3 nights. I thought our guys gave us a really, really gutsy performance today. We earned the point we got, and probably should have deserved better. But that's how it's gone so far for us this season. Yeah, I mean, it is a learning process. There's no question, Dante. And, you know, we've really seen a lot of growth. And I know I've said this before. The listeners are probably going, what's he talking about? But, you know, the course of the weekend, we're playing some people that just don't get the minutes they get. And we're really seeing some growth in our young people. And I firmly believe that, you know, there's better days ahead for us. There's no question. You know, we need a little help, especially when you give a goal up. You have to really come back hard, and when you score, that's the key to success. Is the next shift has to be a real strong shift, and we've had some trouble there, giving up a couple of weak goals tonight. I thought, you know, that's kind of how it went down.
Something to build on. He's talking about going into this week coming up here. Some tough games here. So we're playing Brandon on Wednesday, a rematch with Red Deer on Friday, and then Lethbridge on Saturday. So not a lot of time to straighten things out here. A lot of games here in a short time, like we've been talking about, make-up games. And I don't know, what do you think what are you hoping to see this week coming up?
Well, hoping to see some good efforts again. I mean, Brandon's going to be a tough game, but see what happens there. And then Friday, Saturday at home, Red Deer and Lethbridge. Like, so close with Red Deer here. Like, we can beat them. Like, that's not a question. And then Lethbridge, I mean, they're right ahead of you. You gotta win that game, without a doubt. No matter what happens in those other 2 games, you gotta beat Lethbridge if you're serious about making these playoffs.
And if playoffs are still on the table, I think we can do this. Like if they played like they do, and the guys the younger guys, maybe that's like a bonus out of this weekend is, like Ken just said, the guy's not getting minutes as much when everyone's healthy. Them getting that and just maybe building some confidence and going into these last, 20 games. Maybe that'll kind of give them a little step or something. And I'm looking for
we can play and produce some points here. Now that I'm playing up a line or with some other guys, now I can take that when everybody's back. I've got, a few less shifts, a few less minutes. Maybe I'll go not go a little harder, but the confidence is there. I can put up a point or a goal here, and if I just really get down to it, right?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like a little bit of extra ice time, a little bit more experience in these last few games. They just build their abilities a bit, and now they know they can score some goals, and Michaels can get assists and be a playmaker. Like maybe it'll happen. I don't know. It's they got 20 games to figure it out. So, what's your prediction for this week?
I'll say 4 points.
4?
Yeah,
sure. I think so too. I think those home games are winnable. Red Deer we took to overtime, and Lethbridge is a beatable team. So yeah, I agree.
I was looking at writing up the Dub Network article I did on Saturday night. Bedard's really hot. Like he's up to 8th overall in scoring.
I know. It's kind of
he was way down there.
I was scrolling through that today just to see kind of where guys are and how things are playing out. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised to see his name there. He's been putting up so many points, and I was like, oh yeah, he's moving up pretty good actually. And
like he was way behind.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at the rookies the one day. Like Savoy was at the top. Now he's ahead of Savoy.
Uh-huh.
Jaeger, he had more goals than Jaeger had more goals than him, and now he's left him in the dust now.
Yeah, like, he's
got 33 now, and Jaeger's down to only at 25, right?
Right.
And now Bedard had like 20, and he was ahead of him, and now he's just he's shot way up. Yeah. Like he's just been hot, like we said, since getting named to Team Canada. He's just been on fire.
Yeah, it's really become pretty much every time he's on the ice, you're now watching him, and he has potential, right? And it's it is exciting. And he put up points this weekend, but it wasn't like it was interesting. Did you notice how many like signs in the crowd and kids and stuff were like there to see him?
Definitely, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah,
definitely. I think it's 17 out of his last 22 games. He's had multi points.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
That's yeah.
It is remarkable, and
exactly right.
Yeah,
but you look at the Armstrong goal. He sets up Armstrong and he scores, right? Like Armstrong's only got half dozen, and he puts in a nice goal, top corner.
Yeah. Yeah, he makes other people around him great. He just really does.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, he's a special player. Well, let's leave it at that for this week. Boys are back on Friday. A couple home games, which is nice after not seeing them for a bit. So, let's hope for some points. I said the door's closed here. It's not totally closed. We still got some meaningful hockey here. So, all right. Well, let's wrap it up, and we'll see you guys at the rink.
Good night.
Night.